Hi, and welcome to page 103, Conversation. It's not easy, is it? Okay, listen and practice.
Page 103. Exercise 8. Conversation. It's not easy, is it? Part A. Listen and practice.
I need to find a new apartment. I can't stand the noise from all those bars and clubs in my neighborhood anymore.
I can imagine. And it isn't easy to find a nice apartment in a quiet neighborhood, is it?
No, it's not. And my rent is already sky high. I'm having a hard time making ends meet.
I know. Everything is really expensive nowadays, isn't it?
It sure is. I'm looking for childcare for my baby, but I just can't find anything affordable in the area.
The city should provide free childcare to working families.
I think so too, but unfortunately the mayor doesn't.
Okay, now let's listen to the rest of the conversation.
Page 103. Exercise 8. Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What is Ted concerned about?
Oh, listen to me. I'm always complaining, aren't I? Anyway, how are things with you?
Oh, not bad. But I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do after I graduate.
Yeah, it's hard to find a job these days, isn't it?
It's not that. I'm just not sure if going to engineering school was the right thing to do.
What do you mean?
I only have a few more months before I graduate, and now I'm wondering why I did this. I don't want to be an engineer. It all seems like a waste of time now.
So what are you gonna do?
Well, I'd like to move to Hawaii and set up a surfing school, but I think my parents would flip.
So, what is he concerned about? Ted is concerned about what he's going to do after he graduates. Imagine studying something and doing something else. That could give a lot of people anxiety. Now let's go to grammar focus. Tag questions for opinions. Remember, you need to copy this grammar focus. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about tag questions when you give an opinion. When you make an affirmative statement, you give an affirmative opinion, you have to put a negative tag. For example, everything is really expensive nowadays, isn't it? Okay? I'm talking about everything, okay? So this verb to be is going to change to a negative state. Isn't what? Everything. You don't have to repeat everything. You have to say it. There are lots of clubs around. Aren't there? You don't have to repeat how that clubs. You only say you're going to refer to them. So you start by saying aren't, making this one negative. Aren't there. There what? Clubs around. Okay, because I'm referring to the clubs. Mara likes her apartment, doesn't she? In this case, we're not using the verb to be. We're using another action like the word like. Okay? If it's another verb that it's not be, then you have to use do or doesn't. Okay? In this case, since the action is affirmative, you use a negative and you say doesn't because you're referring to Mara. But if you're referring to I or we, then you have to say don't. Okay? Don't I? Don't we? In this case, since I'm referring to the third person, Mara, we say doesn't she? If it's a guy, doesn't he? If it's a dog, doesn't it? Okay? The city should provide childcare, shouldn't it? The only change you're going to make here is that this model of obligation right here changes into a negative one. Okay? Now, in the case that we begin with negative statements, you use the opposite, an affirmative tag, just like you did here, but in here. Okay? As you can see, isn't moves to is it. Aren't any to are there. Don't make much noise, do they? We're referring to what they do. And you can't sleep because of the noise, can you? Okay? So remember, the tag is the question that goes at the end of the sentence, and it has to be the opposite. Okay? Now add tag questions to these statements, then compare with a partner. Okay, in this case, you're going to write these down and you're going to complete them with a tag question. Okay? You can check right here. This is how you make them. So I'm going to leave it there so you can read it all the way through number 8. And check that your tags were correct according to the explanation. Now, what are some things you feel strongly about in your school or city? Write 6 statements with tag questions. Just like the ones here on the examples, you're going to make about your school or city. How many? 6. And you have to write them down with your corresponding tag question. Okay? So that is today's assignment. Go to page 146 and answer the Grammar Plus. Okay, you already answered this section right here. Now you're going to send me the answers for this section right here. Remember, in this case, you can send me picture. Okay, so tag question added to statements in the simple present and simple past. Use the corresponding auxiliary verb in the tag. You agree with me, don't you? You don't agree with me, do you? You paid the rent, didn't you? You didn't pay the electric bill, did you? Okay? Just remember to do the opposites. Just remember that. So answer this as well and send it. Have a great day and see you soon.